Welcome to Ganitika.com. This is a website for mathematics lovers, learners, and leaders. This video is the first of the 6 videos in which I am going to solve 6 questions from paper 3 IB Maths AAHL. At the moment, we have access to 3 papers. One is specimen paper, the other 2 are 2 time zone papers of May 2021. So we have 3 papers at the moment. In each paper, you have 2 questions. While I'm solving them, I'll also tell you how to connect the questions together and what are the things that are important for you to analyze. I'm also going to give you tips on how to think while you're answering these questions. I recommend that you have a printed copy of specimen paper 3 of IB Maths AAHL in front of you, along with a notebook and a GDC. Are you ready? Let's start with the statement given for the question. In every question in paper 3, you'll have a statement describing what you're going to do in this particular question. In this case, the question says, this question asks you to investigate regular n-sided polygons. You know what is regular n-sided polygons, which means all the sides are equal. So regular n-sided polygon, inscribed and circumscribed in a circle. Let's highlight inscribed and circumscribed. And the perimeter of these as n tends to infinity to make an approximation for pi. So the final idea of this investigation is to make an approximation for pi. But how are we going to do this? We are going to use regular n-sided polygon inscribed and circumscribed in a circle. Do you know what is inscribed? Do we know what is circumscribed? Inscribed is like this, where the polygon is inside a circle, and circumscribed is where the polygon is just outside the circle. So these are polygons inscribed and circumscribed in a circle. So we know these 2 words. And the next part of the question is the perimeter of these as n tends to infinity. So what is n? N is the number of sides of the polygon. So what happens if the number of sides of the polygon tends to infinity? That means what happens to the polygon when the number of sides are infinite? So this is something that we need to know. So first of all, take a minute to understand this statement. Don't take it for granted that it is of no use. But once you read the statement carefully, you know what you have to keep in mind, what you are going to do, and what is the area that you are going to tackle in this question. For example, in this question, you are going to do some geometry and you are going to do perimeter, inscribed and circumscribed in a circle. And you are also going to do some limits as n tends to infinity. And then we are going to do something to approximate pi. Now let's see what happens as n tends to infinity for a polygon. When the number of sides is equal to 3, you get an equilateral triangle. Because we are dealing with regular pentagons, we have an equilateral triangle because all the sides of the triangles are equal to each other. Therefore, when n equal to 3, we have an equilateral triangle. When n equal to 4, we have a square because all the sides are equal and the number of sides are 4. And when n equal to 5, we get a regular pentagon. 6 gives you a regular hexagon and so on. As I increase the number of sides, say now we have number of sides is equal to 12. This is a 12-sided polygon. And as I increase the number of sides, you can see that the polygon is gradually changing into a circle. So if I make n to infinity, if I go on and increase the number of sides to infinity, you can see that you are getting a smoother and smoother circle as seen here. So keep it in mind that as n tends to infinity, a polygon is going to become a circle. So this is what you need to keep in mind before you go to the next question. So let's read the first question of the paper. Consider an equilateral triangle ABC of side lengths x units inscribed in a circle of radius 1 unit. For simplicity's sake, we are considering a circle of 1 unit here and center O as shown in the following diagram. Fine. There is a circle, there is an equilateral triangle inside the circle. The sides of the equilateral triangle are x units and there is a center O of the circle and the radius of this circle is 1 unit. So we have all this information and the next statement that is given in the question is, this equilateral triangle can be divided into 3 smaller isosceles triangles. So how can you divide them into 3 smaller isosceles triangles? Cutting the original equilateral triangle into 3 smaller isosceles triangles. And what is the angle subtended at the center O? It is divided into 3 parts, which means each angle is equal to 2 pi over 3. Therefore, you have smaller isosceles triangles, 3 of them. In each case, you have the angle subtended at the center to be equal to 2 pi over 3. You also note that OA, OC and OB are radii of the circle, which is 1 unit. Therefore, these sides are going to be 1 unit, and this is the triangle which is going to be shown in your question paper as the next step. So you have this shown here, OCB with 2 pi over 3 as the angle and 1 as the sides and x as the third side. Now, using right angled trigonometry or otherwise, so you have a choice of method, show that the perimeter of the equilateral triangle ABC. Be careful here, you are not asked to find the perimeter of the triangle shown in this slide. It is not OCB, but it is the triangle ABC. You know that triangle ABC has sides x. Therefore, the perimeter of the original triangle ABC will be equal to 3x. So, you are going to find 3x, not the perimeter of the OCB which is shown here. Be careful about that. In order to find the perimeter of the original triangle ABC, you need to find the value of x, for which you are going to use this triangle. So, using this triangle OCB, you can find the value of x. Let's first use cosine rule to find the value of x. So, using cosine rule on OCB, x will be equal to square root of 3. It also says that you can use right angle trigonometry. In case if you want to use the right angle trigonometry, you have to make a right angle inside this OCB like this, so that you have pi over 3 as the angle and x by 2 as one of the sides. Therefore, using the basic trigonometric SOHCAHTOA, sin pi by 3 is equal to x by 2 over 1. 1 is the hypotenuse. Therefore, x will be square root of 3. So, in both the cases, you are getting x value as square root of 3. Therefore, the perimeter of ABC will be equal to 3 into square root of 3. Therefore, we have shown what is required. Next question is asking you to consider a square of side lengths x units inscribed in a circle of radius 1 unit. Instead of an equilateral triangle, we are going to have 4-sided polygon, which is a square inscribed in a circle. So, you need to carefully take note of these words. Inscribed in a circle of radius 1 unit, it's going to be a square of x units. So, make a rough sketch of a square inscribed in a circle like this. By dividing the inscribed square into 4 isosceles triangles, as we did before in the equilateral triangle, we are going to cut this square also into isosceles triangles, but in this case, we will have 4 isosceles triangles like this. And we are going to divide the whole angle by 4. Therefore, each angle will be equal to pi over 2. And we have this diagram drawn in the side. So, it's always good to draw a rough sketch. Even if you are not a good artist, you can make a rough sketch of what is given so that you will have a clear picture of what you are going to do. So, you have 4 isosceles triangles in which you just need one triangle OAB, for example. OAB is a right angled triangle. We have this here. It's the same thing as we did in the equilateral triangle, right? We had OCB as one of the smaller triangles inside the equilateral triangle. In this case, we are having OAB as the smaller triangle inside the square that we have here. So, this triangle happens to be a right angle triangle. Therefore, OAB is right angle. 1 and 1 are the legs and x is the hypotenuse. Therefore, we can easily use Pythagoras theorem. And using Pythagoras theorem, we have x is equal to 1 square plus 1 square, which is equal to square root of 2. So, x will be equal to square root of 2 using Pythagoras theorem, and therefore, the perimeter of the square, the polygon here is the square, therefore, the perimeter of the square is going to be equal to 4 times x, which is equal to 4 times square root of 2. So, find the exact perimeter of the inscribed square is the question. So, if you want to find the perimeter of this square ABCD, it's equal to 4 times x, which is equal to 4 square root of 2. Let's continue with the next question. Find the perimeter of a regular hexagon. Now the sides are 6 and the x units is the same thing for the length of the sides, inscribed in the same circle of 1 unit radius length. So these are the things that you need to highlight and keep in mind. Make a rough sketch of what you can about a hexagon being inside a circle. And you don't have to draw everything. You know that you can cut this into 6 isosceles triangles, and one of the isosceles triangles will be looking like this. And you know that the center angle is going to be divided by 6. Therefore, it is 2 pi over 6, which is also equal to pi over 3. And the isosceles triangle has the sides 1, 1 and x. Therefore, you have the angle pi over 3, 1, 1x as an isosceles triangle. So, and you also need x because perimeter of this hexagon is going to be 6x. Therefore, let's use cosine rule to find the x value here. So, using the cosine rule on this triangle OAB, x will be equal to 1. You can pause the video here and try to do it in your notebook and find out the value of x and also the perimeter of this hexagon. Are you ready? The perimeter of this hexagon is going to be 6x, which is going to be 6 times 1, which is 6. So in the first case, in equilateral triangle, we had 3 root 3. In case of square, we had 4 square root of 2. And in case of hexagon, the perimeter is 6. So make a note of this in your notebook. Maybe you can circle all the answers in your notebook and keep it ready because there is a pattern here. Now, we are going to analyze the pattern. We are going to go for n-sided regular polygons. We are done with the examples. We started with n as 3, n as 4 and n as 6. And we had a pattern. We know how to find the perimeter. So the idea that we did was we cut the hexagon into isosceles triangles and we found x using either cosine rule or right angle triangle. And we substituted n times x for the perimeter and we found the perimeter. So this is the process we did, and we are going to do the same thing for n-sided regular polygon inscribed in a circle of radius 1 unit. We cannot draw n-sided regular polygon, but we can draw a part of the polygon like this. All that we need is just the isosceles triangle of this polygon. We have n such isosceles triangles in n-sided polygon. One triangle looks like this with 2 pi over n as the angle in the center, because 2 pi is divided by n triangles. So we have an isosceles triangle 1, 1 and x with its sides and 2 pi over n as the angle, and we can very well use the cosine rule to find x and then substitute in the perimeter as n times x. But look at the question. The question is in terms of sine and not in terms of cos. If you use cosine rule, you'll have cos in your answer and then you have to change that to sine, which will be more tedious. So make a smart move here. The question is in terms of sine, so it's better to go with the right angle triangle method. So cut this into a right angle like this, pi by n, x by 2 as the sides and pi over n as the angle. So you have a right angle triangle where you have the angle as pi over n, opposite side as x over 2 and hypotenuse as 1. Therefore, using the SOHCAHTOA for sine pi over n is equal to x by 2, which means x is equal to 2 sine pi over n. You will get the value directly. If you use cosine rule here, then you will be coming to this step eventually, but it will take longer time. But the question here is only for 3 marks. So, in order to cut short the steps, that is the reason why the first question was asking you to use right-angled trigonometry or otherwise. If you go back to question A, you know that it says use right-angled trigonometry or otherwise. So it's better you don't use the otherwise part. You don't use cosine rule anywhere so far. You always use the right-angle triangle in each of the cases, n equal to 3, n equal to 4 and n equal to 6, in which case you will be able to easily solve this question as well. I hope you understood the point here. So once you find the x value, substitute in the perimeter nx and you get 2n sine pi over n, which is given. Let's make a checklist here. How far are we done with the initial statement? The question asks you to investigate regular n-sided polygon. We have done inscribed in a circle part is done. And we have found the perimeter of n-sided polygon inscribed in a circle of unit radius. This is what we have done so far. Next is we have to find what happens to this perimeter as n tends to infinity. You can see that the perimeter is in terms of n. Therefore, what happens to this perimeter as n tends to infinity will be the next set of questions in this paper. So let's continue. The question E is asking you to use an appropriate Maclaurin series expansion to find the limit of Pi of n and interpret this result geometrically. Pi of n is as given in the previous step. Pi of n is the perimeter of n-sided regular polygon inscribed in the circle. So I represents the inscribed circle part. So Pi of n is the perimeter of inscribed regular polygon. So we have the expression for the Pi of n from the previous question. And even if you couldn't come to this part, you could easily take the result from the previous question and start using this in this question. So it doesn't matter whether you are able to achieve the answer in question D or not. You can use the show that part directly into this question and continue. So now you have the expression for pi of n as 2n sine pi by n, and you are supposed to find the limit n tending to infinity of this. You can directly do this. N tending to infinity of this will be equal to 2 pi sine pi by n by pi by n. You can introduce pi on the numerator and denominator in order to use sine theta by theta equal to 1 limit. But this method is not going to achieve you any marks because it's specifically asking you to use Maclaurin series expansion. So using Maclaurin series expansion for sin x, which is given in your formula booklet, and substituting the value of x as pi over n, you will get the expansion of pi of n as 2n into pi over n minus pi over n the whole cube by 3 factorial plus pi over n the whole power 5 by 5 factorial, etc. You don't need to write more than 3 terms. It's enough if you write 3 terms in this series. Now you have to multiply this with each term. Then you get 2 into pi minus pi cube by n square. The n cube and n gets cancelled in the second term. So you get pi cube by n square into 3 factorial. The first term n and n get cancelled, and therefore you will have only pi. The third term will be pi to the power of 5, and n power 5 cancels to give you n power 4 in the denominator. So pi power pi by n power 4 5 factorial, etc. Now, taking the limit as n tending to infinity for this series, the second term onwards has n in the denominator, therefore they become 0. So as limit n tending to infinity of this expression gives you just 2 pi, because all the other terms become 0 because of the n in the denominator. Next is, we have to interpret this geometrically. So what is the meaning of this? You know, as n tends to infinity, the polygon is going to become into a circle. So how do you connect with this? What is 2 pi? 2 pi is nothing but we don't call it as a perimeter of unit radius circle. We call it as a circumference of a unit radius circle. Therefore, this becomes a circumference of the circle of radius 1 unit. Therefore, as n tends to infinity, what you need to say is this polygon becomes a circle of radius 1 unit whose perimeter or whose circumference is equal to 2 pi. So this is the geometrical interpretation of the result that limit n tending to infinity of the perimeter of n-sided polygon will be equal to 2 pi, because the polygon becomes a circle. Therefore, the perimeter of the polygon becomes the circumference of the circle. Now, for the next part of the question. Now we are going to consider circumscribed polygons. For that, we are going to start with equilateral triangle. But the question is not asking you to work on equilateral triangle in this case. It is directly asking you to find the perimeter of n-sided regular polygon circumscribed about a circle of radius 1 unit, which is given as a notation PC of n, C representing the circumscribed polygon. And you are supposed to find the perimeter for the n-sided regular polygon directly, and you are not asked to find anything for n equal to 3, n equal to 4 or n equal to 6 as in the inscribed case. So here this diagram of an equilateral triangle is given for you as a guidance towards finding out how to get the expression for the n-sided regular polygon. So let's start with the triangle here. Seeing that it is an equilateral triangle, you know that the angles of the triangle is going to be 60 degrees, which is pi over 3 radians. So in the previous cases, we were using right angle triangle method, and we were using trigonometry in right angle triangle. Therefore, let's see if we can make a right angle here by joining OC. You have a right angle in which this angle is going to be pi over 6, and this angle is going to be pi over 3. And this side is going to be 1 unit, whereas this side is going to be x over 2 unit, half of x, because it's half of the side CB, therefore half of x and 1 units. And if you use pi over 3, then you get the expression tan pi over 3 is equal to x over 2, in which case x is equal to 2 square root of 3. So we found the value of x as 2 square root of 3 From here we can find the perimeter of the triangle, which is 3x, which gives you 6 square root of 3, which is not the question here. We just need to know how to find the x value in case of a circumscribed polynomial. So we know that we can make a right angle triangle in which the angle inside is going to be pi over the number of sides, in this case pi over 3. So if you have an n-sided polygon, the angle would be pi over n, therefore the expression would be tan pi over n is equal to x over 2, therefore x will be equal to 2 tan pi over n. So the perimeter of the n-sided polygon is going to be n times x, and the x that we found was 2 tan pi over n, therefore the perimeter PCN is equal to 2n tan pi over n, and which is what we want to prove. Let's proceed further and see what we are supposed to do next. The next part of this is we are supposed to find the limit as n tending to infinity of this perimeter as before. Notice that you can use this limit as x tending to 0 of tan x over x is equal to 1 in this case by multiplying the expression by pi and dividing by pi. You can rewrite this as limit n tending to infinity of 2 pi times tan pi over n divided by pi over n. So the pi goes with 2, becoming 2 pi in the numerator, and the denominator pi becomes pi over n in the denominator. So you are getting this equal to 2 pi can be taken out of the limit, and limit n tending to infinity of tan pi over n over pi over n is, therefore that limit is going to be 1. Therefore the answer for this limit is also going to be 2 pi. Notice that the limit of the inscribed polygon was also equal to 2 pi, and the limit of circumscribed polygon is also equal to 2 pi, in which case in both the cases, whether it is coming from inside or coming from outside, the limiting condition is going to be circle of radius 1 unit. Even though the question is not asking you to interpret it geometrically this time, but you can make a small note in your mind that this is also equal to 2 pi, which is also equal to the circumference of a unit circle. We also have another method to prove the same limit. Instead of using tan x over x limit, we can use the L'Hopital rules, because this is of the form 0 by 0, which is indeterminate. Therefore, we can use L'Hopital's rule. Using L'Hopital's rule on the numerator, we have to differentiate tan pi over n to secant square pi over n times minus pi over n square, and differentiating the denominator will give you minus 1 over n square. Cancelling and simplifying, you will get this as limit n tending to infinity of 2 pi into secant square pi over n. Substituting the limit n tending to infinity for secant square pi over n, you get secant square 0, which is equal to 1. Therefore, the value of this limit is equal to 2 pi. So, in this case, we are using L'Hopital's rule. In the first case, we were using limit of tan x over x equal to 1. In either way, you can find that the limit of PC of n as n tends to infinity is equal to 2 pi, and which is the circumference of the unit circle. Use the results from part D. Part D is Pi of n is equal to 2n sin pi over n, and part F was equal to Pc of n equal to 2n tan pi over n. These are the two results we got from question D and question F. Using these two results, determine an inequality for the value of pi in terms of n. So what is happening here? In this case, what are the things that we have done so far? Using the Pi of n, we found that in both the cases, as n tends to infinity, the values of Pi of n and Pc of n tend to 2 pi, which is the circumference of a unit circle. The first case is inscribed inside a circle, whereas the second case is the polygon is outside the circle, as shown here. This is inscribed and this is outside, which is circumscribed. So as you can see that in an inscribed polygon, the polygon's perimeter will be less than the perimeter of the circle, which is the circumference of the circle. In the second case, that is the circumscribed case, the circle is smaller than the polygon. Therefore, the perimeter of the circle, which is the circumference of the circle, will be less than the perimeter of the polygon. Therefore, this is the inequality we are getting with the three conditions. Inscribed polygon will have perimeter less than the circumference of the circle, and that will be less than the perimeter of the circumscribed polygon. So if you have this in your mind, you can easily find the inequality here. Of course, it might not come to your mind immediately, but once you know that that's why I said in the beginning, underline the words inscribed and circumscribed. So you should have a very clear idea about what is inscribed and what is circumscribed. In the first case, we said that inscribed polygon becomes a circle. So how does it become a circle? It expands and becomes the circle, whereas in the circumscribed polygon it reduces its perimeter and becomes a circle. So the moment you see the word inequality, you should be able to identify which is smaller and which is bigger. So in this case, substituting the values for inscribed polygon and circumscribed polygon and the circumference of a unit circle, we get this inequality expression, and dividing by 2 throughout, you can see that this is the expression we have for the value of pi in terms of n on both the sides. This might be a slightly tricky question in the exam, but until here you could have solved it easily. But here is the place where you need to think a little more than the normal questions. Let's continue to the last question here. Using part H, which is this inequality, if you have come to this inequality, if you could not come to this inequality, it might be slightly difficult, but still you will get the method marks. So proceed with whatever inequality you got in the previous question, but you are supposed to find the approximation of pi plus or minus 0.005 here. So you know that in this case you need to find the lower bound, which is the left limit is equal to pi minus 0.005, whereas the upper limit is the function equal to pi plus 0.005 gives you the upper bound. Therefore, solving this using GDC, we get that n value is for the lower bound 32.1 approximately, and for the upper bound 45.5 approximately. Therefore, since you are asked to find the least value of n for which both the lower bound and upper bound approximations are within 0.005, since n is an integer, we can say that the required least value for n is equal to 46. So both the upper bound and lower bound will be less than 46 for this case. Therefore, the value of n should be equal to 46. And this is the answer for question I, which is the last question of this paper. I hope you understood well and you are able to do it along with me. If you need any more help, log in to Ganitika.com and contact me through contact form, and I can help you in person. Thanks for watching. Bye bye until next video.